I want to thank all of you for, I know, taking the busy time out of your Thursday schedule to be here with me and Gary. And I brought Gary on in particular. Do you need to hit record, Gary, or do I need to hit it? Or
Let me make sure we are recording because we are recording.
perfect. So I brought Gary on. I met Gary in Nashville last year. I think it was August, Gary. Was it August or?
Yeah.
It was sometime in August. So I've known Gary now for about 6, 7 months. And Gary put on a presentation there, and I thought it was pretty phenomenal about finding out your true why. And this was something that he had put together on the request of the guy that was hosting the mastermind. And I was kind of like, when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of neat. He's going to tell me a little bit about what my why is. But when I actually went through the whole exercise of finding out what my actual why was, it was quite revealing. And it kind of helped me focus and align on more on really running a business where I had more of a passion and getting rid of the stuff that I didn't really have a passion for doing, that I didn't realize I didn't have a passion for doing because I didn't know what my why was. But without spoiling Gary's introduction and everything he wants to talk about in terms of how he pursued his own why, and what led him to a point of actually creating an app that helps you determine your why in 5 minutes, as opposed to the old method of finding out in 8 months, believe it or not. And I'll let Gary explain all that. Now, you might be kind of wondering, well, what does this have to do with you? I'm in internet marketing. I just want to learn how to make money from home in my underwear and stuff like that. But really, one thing you got to understand is that for those of you who are serious about building an online business, whether you're doing it through a Shopify store, whether you're doing it on Amazon, whatever means you're building your brand or your online business, the marketing message really comes down to, number one, determining what your why is, to be able to craft the best marketing message for your business and why you're doing that particular business. But not only does the why formula that Gary's going to explain about have a profound effect on you discovering yourself and improving your marketing so that ultimately at the end of the day you can create a better, more profitable business, but it has profound effects not only with your team members and understanding who your team's whys are. It also can have a profound effect on your personal life. And Gary covered a wide variety of different examples at the mastermind that really just at the end of the day, it makes sense. So, without further ado, Gary, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you razzle and dazzle everybody tonight.
Gauher, thank you very much. It was like Gauher said, we met at a mastermind, and I had the opportunity to there was about 20 of us in this mastermind. And I got to take everybody through this process. So you'll see. And then Gauher and I have actually worked on this messaging for his business as well. So I'll kind of show you some of the things that we've done. And, I wanted to see who's on here right now. I see Gary in Rochester in your underwear. That's good to know. Hopefully you don't have your webcam on. Rui in Melbourne. I hope I'm saying that right. We've got Chris. We've got a bunch of you. And, I sent out a one-question survey before we started, and I got the results here from that survey. I got a whole bunch of you that answered this. And let me just read some of these questions or comments that you had so that this is some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Some of you wrote, I want to gain an edge in the marketplace. I don't really have a question, though. One said the shiny object syndrome, deciding which of several possible directions I should go. Business... I know I need to have a website, and I need to know what's better, a website or a funnel. I'm a marketer. I'm all set up, but I never started prospecting. Hey, Gary, I actually have a list of whys. The problem is choosing the one that's best. Lack of focus, finding enough time. What is my why? How do I decide on what my why is? Okay, you guys are going to get answers to all of that tonight. Maybe the one about funnels and websites I'll leave to Gauher, but the rest I'll be able to answer, and you'll be able to answer for yourself tonight. So we've got Joe in Atlanta. We got Jacques in Sao Paulo. We've got all kinds of people here. Dave in Texas. Bob in New Mexico. Wow, okay, perfect. I'm in New Mexico right now. I'm in Albuquerque. So I got a neighbor in here. But what I really want to do is tell you, here's what we're going to learn tonight. Here's what we're going to focus on. It's two parts. Okay, the first part we're going to talk about is what is a why. So we're going to go into what is a why so that we're all on the same page. And then you're actually going to get to discover your why so that you see your gift and what makes you special. So we're going to take a little break and you're going to get to go online and discover your why. And then we'll be able to talk about it. When you come back in part 2, we're going to apply your personal why to your business. I'm going to show you how they work together, how your business becomes an extension of you when you're clear on who you are. And then we're going to discover exactly what to say to attract your ideal clients. You're going to develop your business why formula. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to create messaging, marketing messaging that's powerful, but it also feels good because it's real, because it's authentic, because it comes from you. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Here's my promise to you. My promise is that I'm going to teach you as much as I can in the limited time we have together. And then I promise you, I'm going to show you how you can take it further. Some of you are going to be able to take what I show you and just run. You're going to get it and say, okay, I got it. Let me take it and go. Some of you are going to say, hey, I love it. I need you to show me how to do it. I'll show you how that can happen if you want. Okay, that's what we'll do at the end. So the 2 most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why, right? Today, we're going to focus on that second one. The day you find out your why, that's when things will become even clearer for you. And those of you that stay till the end, I have a special gift for you. This is the gift I've got for you. It's a guide to the strengths, challenges, and how to overcome the challenges for each of the 9 whys. So I kind of gave something away there. So I gave away that there's 9 whys. You're going to see how that plays out as we go along. But this is going to be a very important guide for you in understanding yourself at a deeper level, at understanding significant people in your life, your spouse, your kids, business partners, employees. You're going to want to know their why and understand them at a deeper level to be able to communicate better with them and build a business with them. Okay? So who should be here? Who should be on this webinar? First of all, people that if you want to know if you're in the right business, this is the right webinar for you. You've got lots of options, lots of choices. You've taken lots of courses and you're trying to figure out, now which one of these should I do? Which direction should I go? You'll have that understanding when we're done tonight. You're starting a new business. Now you've decided which business you want to start. How do I go about doing that? How do I create a team? How do I create my marketing? How do I create my messaging? How do I make it a real business? One that I'm going to have passion for. You'll see how that works as well. And then lastly, if you have a business, but you don't know how to stand out from everyone else who's doing what you're doing, right? I'm a dentist. Here in Albuquerque, there's 700 dentists. How do I stand out from the 700 people, 700 dentists that are doing what I'm doing? I'm going to show you exactly how that works, how to attract people that are actually looking for you when you know your why, okay? And let me just check in. Does that sound good to everybody? If that sounds good, just go over to the chat box. Just type in yes for me so I know you're listening, so I know you're here with me. Yes from Rui. Yes from Chris. Yes from Regina. Yes from Chris. Another Chris. Yes from Raymond. Henry, yes, and Phoenix. Regina, yes. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Jacques says yes. Okay. Gary, German, yes. Jan, thank you, yes. Okay, let's keep going. For about the last 7 years, I feel like I've had this unfair advantage over all the other dentists here in Albuquerque, right? This unfair advantage has taken my practice from just getting by to having abundance. And I can tell you, having abundance is a lot more fun than just getting by. And everybody I've taught this unfair advantage to has had similar results. But I can tell you it wasn't always that way for me, right? This is a picture of me when I graduated from USC Dental School in 1988. That's me over there on the right. I know I look exactly the same now. I'm looking at my own picture. Wish I had that hair still. But I was so excited to go back to Albuquerque and fix all the teeth in Albuquerque, right? No one was going to have a cavity while I was a dentist. Do you remember your first day on the job? If you've started your business, remember the very first day? You were so excited. You couldn't wait to pick up the phone or send out an email or get people to notice you. You were just so full of energy. And that's how I felt. And this is the advice that I was given. If you build a great product, people will come. Have you ever heard that? Right? Go out and just do a great job. Just go do the best job you can. People will naturally find out about you. They'll naturally buy your products or services, and you'll have a great business because you did a great job. That's what I was told. So I did that. I spent 20 years taking the best courses, going to the best institutes, building a beautiful practice, a beautiful facility, training, having a well-trained team. I did all those things to build a great product. And I can tell you that just having a great product is not enough. It's not enough, right? I spent 20 years doing that. I can tell you 20 years is a long time to be doing that and building your business and not getting the results you wanted. I went from being so excited to being this guy right here. This is a picture of me sitting in my office. I'm sitting in that chair right now, looking at my computer screen, which is right there, at my half-empty schedule, wondering how could this have happened to me? What I found is that people didn't want to talk about their teeth. They want to go to a party and say, hey, look at the nice crowns Dr. Sanchez made for me, right? They wanted people to say, hey, you've got a great smile, and them say thank you, right? They get used to the way you do business. So as good of a job as you do, people get used to that, and that becomes the norm. And they weren't sending people to me. And so my business became very stagnant. I remember listening in my operatories and not hearing anything because there was silence. And I felt so frustrated because I'd worked so hard and spent so much time and so much money and energy and effort building a great product, but people weren't noticing. And what I realized in that moment is that I was looking outside of myself for answers. If I take another course, if I buy another product, if I buy another piece of equipment, if I hire another team member, that's going to solve it for me, right? Have you ever been on that shiny penny path where I got to buy the next, I got to buy the next, I got to buy the next? That's what I was on. And I realized in that moment I had to take that mirror that I was pointing at everything else and point it at myself and say, who am I? Why do I do what I do? What is my gift? What do I bring? What am I passionate about? That same week, my daughter Bella asked me to take her and her teenage girlfriends to the midnight book opening of Twilight. Do you remember when Twilight came out? My daughter was 15 at the time. She says, Dad, can you take me and my girlfriends to the bookstore? We go to the bookstore, and of course, I'm instantly alone because teenage daughters don't want to be around their dad. So I'm wandering around this bookstore, and I look down this aisle, and I see this book called The Answer by a guy named John Assaraf. Any of you guys know who John Assaraf is? If you've seen the movie The Secret, you know he was the real estate guy who took over a Remax real estate company that was floundering, took it from nothing to 1.4 billion, went back and sold it in his 40s, and then went back and wanted to find out why he was so successful. And he was into vision boards and how the brain works. And he wrote the book called The Answer, and it was exactly what I was looking for. So I hired him as my coach. John Assaraf taught me how to use the internet. He taught me how to do websites, taught me how to do drip campaigns, my own SEO. He taught me how to do video marketing. He taught me how to get my message out to the world. So now I could tell everybody about me, right? The only problem was, what am I going to say? What am I going to say that separates me from everyone else who does what I do? What am I going to say that doesn't make me sound desperate or like I actually need new patients or I actually need business? Have you ever felt that way? You feel like you've got something really, really good and you want to tell everybody about it, but you don't know what to say. So you just stay quiet and you hope. That's what I did. I just hoped things would turn around for me, but they didn't. And then one day I heard John Assaraf interview Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek, he wrote the book, Start With Why. He developed his golden circle concept down here in the bottom corner. If you don't know it, let me tell you what it is. What Simon talks about is he says that inspiring businesses, inspiring companies like Apple, Southwest Airlines, Harley Davidson, inspiring people like Steve Jobs and Martin Luther King, they all communicate the same way, and it's the opposite to the way the rest of us communicate. where we tell people what we do, right? I'm an internet marketer. I sell supplements. I'm a dentist. I'm a chiropractor. I'm an attorney. He said the inspiring companies talk about why they do what they do. So everybody knows what they do, right? Some know how they do what they do. And by how, we mean what's your proprietary processes or the things that you think make you different. But very few companies know why they do what they do. By why, we mean what's your purpose, what's your cause, what's your belief. And it's the inspiring companies that start with why, then tell you how they do what they do, and lastly, what they do, that connect to you in a completely different way to a different part of the brain that allows you to make a decision to move in their direction, to buy their product, buy their service, join their cause because of the way it connects to you. And when I heard that, I said, that is the missing piece. That's what I don't have. I have a great product. I have a great team. I have all the things, but I don't have the right message. I don't know what to say to bring the right people to me. And I'm going to start with my why. I'm going to use my why in everything I do. It made so much sense to me. So I took what I learned from Simon and I took what I learned from John Assaraf, and I created this whyification process back in 2010. Why do we do what we do? How do we do it? What is it we do? What's our vision for what we do? Who is it we need to attract to create that vision? What is it they want so we know where to find them and how to talk to them? I took this and I applied it to my practice. And in 2010, we had our best year ever. Most new patients, most satisfaction, most fun, most production, most money. We went from 6 to 8 new patients a month to 35 to 45 new patients a month. And in my practice, a new patient is worth about $6,000, the type of practice that I have. So it had a significant impact on my bottom line, significant impact on the way I felt. You know, for most businesses, getting referrals just makes you feel good. It makes you feel appreciated. It makes you feel like you're doing something. So getting a lot of people coming to you, a lot of people buying your product makes you feel good, makes you want to keep doing it. So 2010, our best year ever. 2011, best year again. 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. We just finished 2017. Our best year ever. I worked the fewest number of days I've ever worked, and I had the highest production I've ever had. That's when it becomes fun, right? Abundance is so much more fun than just getting by. And this has now happened 8 years in a row. Very, very powerful stuff. But the most important thing I learned, you guys, the most important thing I learned was when you know your why, what you do has more impact. What you do has more meaning. What you do has more focus. What you do has more direction when it comes from your why. So I could talk more about this, but instead I want to show you a video that will bring this point home for you. So I want you to watch this video, and then after that I want you to go to the chat room and I want you to tell me what you saw. Okay? This is a video by a comedian. I think you'll really like this. So turn up your volume, and I'm going to play this video for you.
The series is called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in Winston-Salem. So Break Time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour, hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, you know, can you sing? And then I'm just going to show you the clip. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Wow. That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. So here's the thing. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose.
So what did you guys see there? Go to the chat box. I'd love to hear what you guys saw. Go right to the chat box. Type in there what you saw. Wow, how true. He had more confidence, more fun, amazing grace, emotions, the difference in the feelings, transformation. Let me ask you a question. The first time he sang, was he bad? No. The first time he sang that, he was pretty darn good. But when he knew his why, it had more impact. It had more meaning. It had more focus. Did you notice the audience? The first time they were pretty impressed, right? Yeah, it's pretty good. The second time, you saw they were excited. They were full of energy, just like you probably were. They were smiling and laughing and having a good time because it had more impact. That's what we want to create for your business. That's what we want to create for what you're doing. When you know your why, what you do has more impact. Freedom to express more strong emotion. Exactly, because it came from his why. So now what we want to do is let me tell you why that worked. This might be the most important slide of the night. So I want you to pay particular attention to this slide. I want to talk to you for a minute about the brain, about brain biology, about two parts of the brain. The outer part of the brain here, called the neocortex, and the inner part of the brain called the limbic brain. All right, so the neocortex can understand lots of data. Well, it's responsible for rational and analytical thought and language. What that means is it can understand lots of data. Facts, figures, features are all understood in the neocortex, but the neocortex doesn't drive behavior. No decision-making happens in the neocortex. So you could tell someone all the facts and the figures and the features of your new product or your new service or your new supplement, whatever it is you're selling, and they'll look at you and they'll say, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but let me think about it. Let me think about it. Have you ever heard that? Yeah, let me think about it. When you connect to somebody at the level of the limbic brain, now the limbic brain is responsible for feelings like loyalty and trust. Decision making happens at the level of the limbic brain, but it doesn't have the capacity for language. So when you go to buy something, you buy it because it feels right, and then you justify it with the facts and figures. So you buy something when someone's able to connect to you at the level of the limbic brain, and then you justify it with the neocortex, the facts, figures, and features. So why did you buy that new car? You didn't need a car. Why did you buy that new car? Oh, I just love it. It felt right. It just felt so good. And it gets this kind of mileage, and it has this engine and this much horsepower and all the rest, right? So you buy it when it feels right, and then justify it with the neocortex, with the facts and figures and features. So in order to do that, you have to connect to the limbic brain. And how you do that is by starting with your why. Starting with what you believe. And that's how you'll connect to the limbic brain of your ideal client. So when you want to connect to somebody and have them buy your product or service, you have to start with your why. In order to do that, you have to know your why. So in the video there, he gave him his why, and he was able to connect emotionally to that, which then connected emotionally to you. And that's how you go about doing it, when you start with your why. So that's why you need to know your why. So look, when I applied all of this to my practice, and my practice took off, I started getting calls from other dentists asking me to help them do what I did. So I've helped about 150 dentists, and I had to create processes and systems for being able to help them. And then I started working with lawyers, and I've worked with about 100 lawyers, and then chiropractors. And then the businesses started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now I've worked with over 500 companies, from internet marketers to supplement salespeople to, you name it, I've worked with them. I mean, co-ops in Minnesota, and venture capital firms in Baltimore. You name it, I've worked with them, helping them to first understand who they are, discover their why, and then use that to develop their messaging and their marketing, right? And in doing that, I had the opportunity to help many, many, many people discover their why. So once Simon helped, so what happened to me is I went back and I asked Simon to help me discover my why. And he took me through this process that was about 8 months long, refining, going back in my life, looking for clues. And once I discovered my why, which is to find a better way, I was then able to go back and find a better way to help other people discover their why. So once I discovered my why, I would sit down with people and help them to discover their why. And as I got better and better and better at this, and I started to notice patterns and trends and similarities. And after working with thousands of people on stages, on Skype, in person, on buses, on airplanes, I found that there's only 9 different whys. 9 different whys. That was the most important thing I discovered. Let me go through these 9 whys with you. Maybe you can take a screenshot of this, but these are the 9 whys. The first why is to contribute to a greater cause, make a difference, add value, or have an impact in the lives of others. These are people that want to help. They don't have to be the thing, but they want to be part of it. They're great team players. The second why is trust, to create relationships based upon trust, to be the trusted source, to be the one that others can count on. If they can trust you and you can trust them, the sky is the limit. The third why is make sense, to make sense out of things, especially if complex or complicated. These are great problem solvers. You can just take all your stuff and throw it right onto them, and they can quickly synthesize it down to that thing that's keeping you stuck. So they help people move forward by helping them solve their problems. The fourth why is better way, to find a better way and share it. That's my why. I'm really good at taking something that's already there and improving it, innovating it, making it better, always asking the question, how can we improve it? The fifth why is right way, to do things the right way in order to get results. This happens to be Gauher's why. He's all about structure and processes and things that will work. If this is going to work, we stick to it because we know we'll get predictable results. The sixth why is challenge, to challenge the status quo and think differently. Think outside the box. Imagine extraordinary. You take these people and you put them in a box and they die. Put them outside the box and they can see amazing things and build amazing things. Steve Jobs had this why. The seventh why is master, to seek mastery and understanding. These are people that like to go deep, depth, breadth, details. They take the simple and make it complex. For you and I, it's 3 steps to cook a scrambled egg. For them, it's 28 steps because they know something about every step. The eighth why is clarify. For these people, if things aren't crystal clear, they stop and they have to make sure that they're clear. They're the people that ask lots of questions. Hey, I've got a question. Could I ask you something? I need to get clarification here. Because if things aren't clear, they can't move forward. But once they do, they're able to take off. And the last why is simplify. Take the complex, strip away the excess, break it down to its simplest form, because that's when it's understandable and everybody can see it. The gal who does our branding, you can see my logo in the bottom right corner. Her why is simplify. There's nothing left to take away from our logo. She wears 2 colors, black and white, and that's it. Those are the 9 whys. We're going to use those in a minute to help you discover your why. Now, why they're so important is because if you went right now and you looked on Amazon on books about why, there's over 99,000 books that have been written on the subject of why. 99,000. From the Bible to Mark Twain, to Simon Sinek, people have been talking about this and writing about this forever. Then Simon Sinek comes along and develops his golden circle concept, right? Why, how, what? And suddenly we could see it, and it made sense. And I was like, man, I want that, but I couldn't do anything with it because I didn't have a way to discover my why. Once I discovered the 9 whys, now we're able to actually do it. And that when you can discover your why, that's when you can use your why, and that's when you can live your why. That's when it becomes important, right? So as I was working with all of these companies, I started to see them go through this transformation. Instead of talking about what they did and what they had, they started to talk about why they did what they did. And that's when things really took off for them. You see, because transformation, this is really important. Transformation isn't about being someone you want to be. Transformation is about you being you being authentically you. You don't have to change yourself. You don't have to do anything different. You just have to know who you are in order to be you, because you're already good enough. And the way you do that is by discovering your why, which we're going to do here today. So what is a why? What are we talking about? You see, when I didn't know my why, some of you, I can tell from the questions that you sent me, are feeling this exact same thing. I felt like I was driving in the fog. Imagine going down this mountain road and you go into this bank of fog, right? You're holding on tense. You're hoping to get through. You can't really enjoy the ride. You can't really see where you're going. You can't move very fast. It's not a lot of fun when you're in the fog because you're just feeling your way along life, hoping not to make a mistake, right? But when you know your why, things become clear. You can see where you're going. You can see where you've been. You can make great decisions. You can enjoy the ride. You can move really fast because it's clear. That's what happens when you know your why. You see, your why is why you do what you do everywhere, not why you do what you do in your business right now. It's what you bring everywhere. It's what you're compulsive about. My why is to find a better way. I go to bed thinking about a better way, and I wake up thinking about a better way, and I didn't choose it, and I can't turn it off. It's just the way it is. It's your cause. It's how you're hardwired. It's how you think, right? It's what people can count on from you. If you're looking to find a better way, you know who to go to, because that's how I think. If you want to find a better way to get your product out to the world, you know who to come to. That's how my brain works, right? What would it be like for you if you had the clarity and the words to be sought after by your ideal client? Sought after by your ideal client. That's what we want to focus on today. How do you do that? It happens when you know your why. So let's go ahead and discover your why. You guys ready? Let's do this. So what I want you to do is go to another browser or another tab, and I want you to type in yinstitute.com/Gauher. yinstitute.com/Gauher. It'll take you right to my Y app. I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 minutes to take the Y app and then come back and put your results into the chat room. Okay? 4 or 5 minutes. If you have any trouble, let me know, but just go to yinstitute.com/Gauher. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. Ted, are you going to yinstitute.com/Gauher? If you're, I can't, I just went there, and but if that isn't going there for you, just go to yinstitute.com, and right on my homepage will be the Y app. Just discover your Y right there. Interesting. Chris, your Y is clarify. Robert, your Y is mastery. Interesting. Those are very interesting Ys, those two. Those are the two most rare Ys. Make sense of the complex or challenging. Good, Jacques. Find a better way, Carrie. One of me, one of us. I'm actually not surprised that it's mastery. I've got some good news for you, Robert. Creating relationships based upon trust for Jana. Keep them coming. They start showing up on my phone here. Alfred, I see you. Henry, contribute. Oh, I see. Ah, there we go. Thanks, Chris. You know Zoom better than I do. Okay, you guys should all be able to see that now. Keep them coming. I know a lot more of you have taken it because I can see them coming through on my phone. Ken, mastery. Wow. Mastery, like I said, is the most rare of all the whys. I'll see one mastery every 6 months, and there's 2 of you on this call. Very, very rare. And that's a challenging why, by the way. Master Ken now. You got a new name. Ivan, you're mastery also? Oh my gosh. I'll wait a couple more minutes and then we'll keep going because I got a lot more to share with you guys. Because I want to show you how to take this and then apply it to your business. That is amazing. There's 3 masteries on this one webinar. Dave C., contribute. So the interesting thing about mastery, well, I will, people whose why is mastery sometimes have a challenge in getting moving because they want to go so deep. They want more and they want more and they want more in order to move. And I hadn't seen very many people with a why of mastery who had found the ability to move beyond that. I had a gentleman that worked for me who was I'm an IT guy, and his why was mastery. And it was such a challenge for me because I would need something done and he would have to research it forever to the nth degree before he could move on it. So just a simple thing like, hey, I need the phone number changed on this website. How long will that take? Oh, yeah, that'll be about 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks? What are you kidding me? That's a 10-second thing. Oh, no, if I change that, how's it going to affect this and what's going to happen here? And I got to research that and I got to go here. And it was interesting because we had to put time frames. So the key for mastery people is to put a time limit because you could go on forever, going deeper and deeper and deeper. So we could talk more about that at another time, but I want to keep moving forward. We've got Dave C. Okay, we've got. Let me keep moving here. So the rest of you go ahead and put them in as you get them, and we're going to keep moving here. Yep. So now I want to talk to you about the personal why formula. Your why is the first step in knowing your personal why formula. The ability to have the clarity to make great decisions, to move in the right direction, to build great businesses, to create your marketing messaging comes when you know your personal why formula. That's your why, your how, and your what. Why you do what you do, how you bring your why to life, and what it is others can count on from you. And so developing your personal why formula will be your next step. Okay, so first step is knowing your why. That's the hardest part, discovering your why. It used to take me hours. We're sitting down with somebody to walk them through the steps of developing their why. I did it with so many people that I saw all these patterns and similarities. I was able to create an algorithm that allowed me to write the software for the Y app that you just took. Now I can work with, in the last few months, I've had about 30,000 people take the Y app. So now I've got lots and lots of data. But I used to have to spend an hour or more per person. Couldn't have much of an impact. But now we were all able to do it simultaneously, right? So your why then leads to your personal why formula, getting crystal clear on you. Very important for mastery people. And clarify people. You've got to be clear on your why, your how, and your what. And then you can use that in your relationships to have a better relationship with your spouse or your significant other or people in your business, to pick the right career, a career where you'll have passion for what you do, and to apply it to your business, to create the marketing and the messaging and the culture at your business will all come from your personal why formula. So when you know your why, you know how you fit. You know how you fit in, right? There's certain positions that are going to be great for mastery. There's going to be certain positions that are going to be great for contribute. There's going to be certain businesses that are going to be great for trust, for making sense. And there's going to be others that are not, right? Have you ever heard that saying, live your passion, right? Go find your passion, be passionate. Well, that all sounds great, doesn't it? How are you going to do that? How do you find your passion? Well, if what you do is in line with why you do what you do, you will have passion for what you do. That's where passion comes from. So if the career or the business that you're thinking about doing or you are doing right now is in line with your why, then you will have passion for what you do. You won't procrastinate. You won't feel overwhelmed. You'll have abundant energy for doing it because you'll have passion for what you do. So if you're feeling procrastination, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like it's not fun anymore, it's probably not in line with why you do what you do. So you want to make sure that you pick a career that you have passion for, because passion is the fuel that gives you the energy to pursue your dreams. Without passion, you don't have anything. So you've got to have passion. Okay? That's what you can do when you know your personal why formula. You can get on the right career path. So what happens is when people discover their personal why formula, I have a course that'll help you develop your personal why formula from just your why to your why, how, and what. And once you have that, then you can say, do I know what I want to do with my life, or do I not know what I want to do? If you don't know, we have a way to help you get on the right career path. Pick the right business. If you do have a business, there's a way to apply your personal why formula to your business. That's what I'm going to show you right now, okay? I'm going to show you how to apply your personal why to your business. Are you guys ready for that? I'm going to check back in with you guys. Just type in there yes if you guys are on board and you're understanding what I'm talking about. Yep, good. Okay. Everybody, any questions? You guys all got it. Thanks, Joseph, Jacques, Chris, Henry. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I want to show you how you do this. Have you ever wondered, who are we as a business? What is our identity? What direction should we go? How do we get focused? How do we get the team engaged and aligned? How do we get noticed for what we do? Essentially, why do we do what we do? That's what you've got to know. That will help you answer all those questions. I want to focus on these two right now because we don't have a lot of time, but I want to focus on these. Who are we and how do we stand out? Let me give you an example. Let me get a drink of water here real quick. Steve Jobs. If you know anything about Steve Jobs, you know he was a guy that thought outside the box, right? Remember, he went off to college, didn't like the structure they created for him, so he dropped out of college, and then he went back and did it the way he wanted to do it, sneaking into the classes he wanted to learn. He was a guy that didn't follow structure, didn't follow directions. He thought outside the box. And once he got outside the box, what he would do is he would look for better ways of doing things. He went all over the world looking for better ways. And then what he would bring back was something that was simple and easy to use, right? So let's say his why was to challenge the status quo. How he did that was by finding better ways to do things. And what he brought was a simple way to help other people move forward. That's his why, how, and what. Now let's apply that to Apple. Right in his hand is the first iPhone. Do you remember the phone before the iPhone? What was the phone? Remember, it was the BlackBerry. And how many buttons were on a BlackBerry? 100? I mean, lots and lots of buttons. So if all he was going to do was make a better phone or think about a better phone, he might have had 101 buttons or 110 buttons. But he thought outside the box. He challenged the way things were done, thought outside the box, found a better way, and came back with something that was simple and easy to use that you could do with just your finger. And anybody, any age, could figure out how to use it because it has one button, right? So Apple is a reflection of Steve Jobs. What is the tagline for Apple? Right? It's think different. What is his why? To think different and challenge the status quo. Apple is a reflection of Steve Jobs. Your business is a reflection of you. That's why you have to know your why, how, and what, so you can apply it to your business to create the messaging that's real, that's authentic. That's when things will take off for you, when it's real, when people can feel it, not some BS, right? It's got to be real. That's when it works. So how you stand out to your ideal client, is it your why or your what? Let's just dive a little bit deeper into this. The unfair advantage that I had, it was back to this slide. I was able to connect to the limbic brain. I stopped talking about what I had, what I did. I talked about what I believed, that life is better when you have great teeth. In fact, it's almost impossible to have a great life if you have bad teeth. And everything we did was talking about a better life and being who you were meant to be because you had great teeth, not about crowns and fillings and root canals and bridges and all that stuff. That's what it is to be a dentist. That's not why I'm doing it. I was able to connect to the limbic brain of our ideal client, and they would come to us and justify it then with the neocortex. That's what you need to do. What works is when you know your why. This is what worked for all the clients I've worked with. They know their why. They know how they go about doing their why, how they bring their why to life. They know what they bring, and they know how to put it all together in a way that their ideal client will receive, be attracted to, and seek them out as a result of it. That's how you do it. Those are the steps you want to go through, right? So let me give you an example here. This is a company I worked with called the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce, all right? This was their tagline: we are more than a chamber. How does that grab you? Does that fire you up? Does that get you excited? We are more than a chamber. And this is what they wrote on their homepage. The Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce is a member-focused business organization, and we are proud to be one of the largest Hispanic chambers in the country. Our members are the core of everything we do, and you support our organization by collaborating with us in a variety of ways. How's that grab you? Does that make you want to join? All they're doing is talking about what they have, what they do. Blends in with everybody else, right? So we developed their why, how, and what, discovered their why, developed their why, how, and what, created their new messaging, their new tagline, all around their why. And it went from, this is their new tagline: join, connect, thrive. They believe that when you join, they will help you connect and you will thrive. We believe in contributing to a greater cause. We believe in adding value to your membership. The way we do that at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber is by providing a place where successful people can meet and collaborate. What we found is that most people are one connection away from realizing their dreams. We believe your success is our success. Does that feel different to you? Did that connect to you in a different way? Did it make you feel something? If this is what you believe, then they are the right company for you. When you tell people what you believe, if they believe what you believe, they'll make a decision to move in your direction, buy your product, service, join your cause. If they believe what you believe. If they don't believe what you believe, then they won't, and that's okay too. You want to focus on the people that believe what you believe, but first you have to know what it is you believe. That's what this is all about. That's how you connect to the limbic brain, okay? I could show you some typical messaging. You've seen this on so many other sites. So-and-so attorney here has served the Colorado community for more than 25 years. He's a seasoned and experienced litigator. He has had pleasure of representing clients at all different levels at the state, municipal, and even federal courts. As a managing partner of such and such, he is well-versed in law and procedures pertaining to your case, right? He's talking about his what. And that doesn't connect to you in any way. I could read you some more, but I know we're running out of time here, and I want to make sure that I get to how you get good results. Poor results come from when you connect to the neocortex, right? When you only talk about what you do, and you use typical messaging that you see on any competitor's website. When you do that, you will blend in with everybody else who does what you do, and you will get to compete on price. How much fun is it to compete on price? Right? It's not. You don't want to be in the game of having to compete on price because you lose. It's not fun. The unfair advantage I was talking about, is it why or is it what? Yeah, it's why. Is it limbic or is it neocortex? Right? The limbic brain is the decision maker. Don't you want to talk to the decision maker? Is it feeling or is it thinking? Yeah, it's the feeling brain, not the thinking brain. And is it what we believe or what we do? It's what we believe. So now you can take any marketing that you're thinking about doing, any messaging for your organization, and you can put it through these questions. Is it why or what? Is it limbic or neocortex? Is it feeling or is it thinking? Is it what we believe or what we do? And you'll quickly know if you're going to connect to the limbic brain of your ideal client. If it's not, then don't do it, because it's just going to blend in with everybody else. Is this making sense to you guys? Are you getting this? Everybody getting it? You know, here's a client I worked with. He said, you know, we could have, I believe that now that I know my why and the why of my practice, we could have saved thousands of dollars on marketing, because he knew what to do. Let's see. Henry says, yes. Chris says, kinda. We'll get a copy of this. Will we get copies of the slides? Yeah, Chris says kind of. So let me make it more clear then. These are the steps that you're going to go through. These are the 3 steps. So maybe you'll want to take a screenshot of this when they're all up there. These are the 3 steps to getting clear and standing out. The first step, you got to know yourself. You got to know who you are. You've got to know your personal why formula. Okay? That is step 1. That is your personal why, how, and what, which we talked about earlier. The second step, you've got to know your business. You've got to know your business why formula. The why, how, and what of your business. Why do we do what we do, and why should anyone care? Right? How do we bring that to life, and what is it people can count on from us? You've got to know your business why formula. And the third step is you've got to be able to create authentic messaging that feels right. So on number 3, you're going to create messaging that you send out to the world so that you attract the right people to you. And when they come to you, they have to be able to see what it is that you say you are. It has to be real. It has to be in alignment. And that all comes from your why. Everything you do comes from your why. When you have 1, 2, and 3 in alignment, that's when you'll be able to stand out. So your why marketing formula is your ideal client, your elevator pitch, your tagline, your we believe statements. Those are all the messaging that I'm talking about. That's the messaging that you saw on the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. The we believe statements. When you have all those 3 things, that's when you'll stand out. That's when you'll get to live your why. And that's when you're going to have peace of mind, right? After all, isn't that what we're looking for, is peace of mind? That all of this is happening, that it's all real, that it's all true, that it's all authentic, that you're attracting the right people, that you've got the right business coming to you. That's when it becomes fun, when you have these things in alignment. Okay? You guys getting this? Let me have it here to see another yes if you got this. Yes? Chris, yes? Or yeah? Good. Jacques, yes. Robert, Henry, good. Okay. Perfect. Yes? Perfect. Okay. Let me show you. Imagine if you knew what to say to make your business stand out from the rest. Imagine if you knew what to say to attract the right new clients. Imagine if your team, if you have one, was engaged and aligned around your cause. How would that feel to you? How would that peace of mind feel to you? I can tell you for me, man, I was struggling. It was just not any fun. I felt like I had to buy the next shiny penny, the next thing. I had to go to the next one. This didn't quite do it. I didn't know me, and I didn't know how to talk to my market. And so I couldn't move forward. I stalled out. I was living on hope. And I don't know if you felt that, but living on hope is not fun. You've got to have a plan. You've got to know how to do this, and you've got to know how to do it right if you're going to get results. Gauher. I did this with Gauher. He said, my biggest takeaway was getting clarity on what my mission statement is for my potential customers. The Why Business Formula Workshop helped me define the right messaging to attract the right customers who fit my company's principles and goals. I recommend this training to anyone who is looking to build a better business with a clear message on who they can help. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's the point. Linda Miles, she's a speaker and an author. She says, without a doubt, learning my why was mind-boggling. I spoke with Dr. Gauher regarding how every speaker, consultant, in fact, every business person needs to learn their personal and business why. Until we do, we truly have no idea what differentiates us from others that doing what we do. That's the whole point. You got to differentiate yourself, and it has to be real. You can't just make something up. You can, but people will find out about it. Why not make it real? Why not make it count? So how do you get this for your business? You probably took some screenshots along the way, or you've taken a bunch of notes. You saw the 9 whys. You can start to build this for yourself. You can do what I did. I just started applying it to my business. It took me a long time to do it, but I was able to figure out how to create all my marketing and all my messaging. Like I said, I've done this with over 500 companies over the last 8 years. I've helped over 30,000 people discover their why. And so I've shortcutted this process for you if you want my help. Let me show you what I'm doing. These are the 3 steps I just talked to you about. Number 1, your personal why formula. Number 2, your business why formula. And number 3, your why marketing formula. What I'm doing for you guys is I'm putting them all, usually they're sold separately. It's a step-by-step process. Okay, what I'm doing is I put together a package for Gauher and for all of Gauher's people where I put all 3 together. So you have everything that you need to get clear, stand out, and go play big. All of it. You're going to have, so like I said, I used to fly around the country and I would work with companies live. I would help them through these processes live, and they paid me a lot of money. I would charge them up to $30,000 a day for me to walk them step by step through this. And then I started doing this virtually, where I would work online virtually with 10 or 20 companies at a time. And then what I realized is they could only do it when I could do it. So I took what I learned and I put them into online courses, video-driven online courses, where I walk you step by step through the process. It's a recipe. If you follow the steps, the formulas, you will get the results in the end. I guarantee it. It's worked every single time. So what I did is I put together all 3 of these for you so that you could do this yourself with your team in the comfort of your own home and not have to travel to come see me. And so I put them together. The Personal Why Formula course. What happens in this? You discover your why so you see your gift and what makes you special. You develop your personal why formula. You actually do it in the course. So you understand yourself and others get you. And this is great for making decisions, for communicating better, and living a life of passion. When you know your personal why formula, your people around you will understand you, and you will see the direction that you should go with your business and in your personal life because you'll be clear. I usually sell that. That's online, sells for $149. Okay, I keep that at a low price so everyone can do it. The Business Why Formula. This is This is where you take your personal why, you apply it to your business so that you gain an unfair advantage over your competitors. That's where the unfair advantage came from for me. You'll know how to answer the question, who are we? Who are we? And then you'll discover exactly what to say to attract your ideal client. You will develop your business why formula. Why do we do what we do? How do we do it? What is it we bring? And the story around it, so you'll be able to say that anywhere that you go and attract the right people to you. You'll use that on your website. You'll use that when you speak to people. You'll use that to attract the right people. Okay, and with that, there's a weekly mentorship call so that every week I'll be there to help you through the process. Then I've also put together the Business Why Messaging course, where you're able to create marketing messaging that's powerful and it feels good, right? That's the key. You can create something, but if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel good, then you're not going to use it. This is when you get clear on your ideal client so you know where to find them and how to talk to them. And you're going to create your tagline so you can be confident in speaking authentically about your business. This is when you're going to be able to stand out and stop being a well-kept secret. Do you ever feel like you're a well-kept secret? That's how I felt. I had something really good, but I didn't know what to say to get it out to the right people. In this course, you'll have the exact words that you can use in every area of your marketing, whether that's online, offline, radio ads, newspaper ads. You'll know exactly what to say to attract your ideal client. And it also has the weekly mentorship calls that come with it. So normally that's $12.97 as well. Both of those courses sell for $12.97. You can go to my website and you'll see for yourself. What I'm doing is I'm combining all of these for Gauher's group. For all of you guys today, I'm putting together the personal why formula course, the business why formula course, and the business why messaging course. And then I'm also adding a special bonus. Here's a special bonus for you guys. For the first 12 of you that sign up, I'm going to do a 30-minute one-on-one, just you and me, and I will go through all of your messaging with you, and I will make sure that it's right, that it's exactly what you want to say. I've done this over 500 times. I can walk you step by step. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know what fits together. I know how to put it all together. This is what I did with Gauher. So you will have me to verify all of your work all the way through so that you'll get what you need to use anywhere that you want. So the special bonus for the first 12 that sign up is 30-minute one-on-one with me. All right? I charge $1,500 for that. I charge a lot more actually, but when I do it on the phone, I charge $1,500. If I go to your place, it's more like $10,000. But I put it in here as $1,500. So the total for all of this is $4,243. Okay, you can go to the whyinstitute.com/special. And what I've done is I've knocked it down to $997, under $1,000 for all of that. Just the half-hour consultation with me would be $1,500. But these courses are going to walk you step by step. You can do this at your home, with your spouse, with your significant other, with your business partner, with your team, to go through and develop all of this so that then you're ready to take off. Without the right message, you blend in with everyone else. You've probably already experienced this. You've probably already seen this. You have to be clear in order to take off. In order for your business to thrive, you've got to be clear on you, you've got to be clear on what to say, and you've got to be clear on how to do that. That's what I'm going to show you so that you're ready to go. Go to whyinstitute.com/special. This is just for Gauher's people. You know, I hate when people say, I've never offered this before, but I never have offered this before. I've never done it. And this is the only time I'm going to do it. I don't have time to sit down with 50 people online and one by one sit down with them and go through their information. Go through and make sure that it's done right. For all of you that sign up, the first 12, I can do 12. That's as many as I think I can do. So for the first 12, I will do a one-on-one personal consult with you. You will know that it's right. If you talk to Gauher, he'll tell you when he and I did it together, that's when you have my help to make it go faster and give you the confidence to make sure that it's right. I've done this with so many companies all over the world in every different language. It's been a lot of fun, but I'll be there for you to help you through that. So this is the special whyinstitute.com/special. whyinstitute.com/special. So any questions, go to the chat room, ask me some. I see there's some questions up here. Yes, awesome. Thank you. Good. If you've got any questions, I would love to help them. Chris, thank you. What a great webinar. Thank you very much. I'm glad you got to discover your why. That is step one. That's the hardest part. The hardest part for you guys is knowing your why. You know it now. You know your why. You see yourself clearly. Things are starting to make sense for you. Now let's take that and do something with it. Really get you going in the right direction. Really get you understanding how to articulate that so you bring the right people to you. Is this making sense to you guys? Are you seeing how you can use this to build your new business or take your business to the next level? Head over to the chat room. Give me a yes if you're understanding this. Because
can I jump in here, bud?
Please.
Yeah, one of the things that people don't realize the power of knowing not only your why is also knowing the why of other people, especially the people who are working on your team. Because one of the stories you told us, Gary, was about, the little, the IT guy who used to storm into the office, go right to the back, close his door, do his work and leave. Yep. And really the reason was because there was an incident that somebody didn't understand truly what his why was. And he felt kind of jaded and didn't want to really contribute in a more public setting towards the company and just rather do his job. But when they made all their employees go through this process and they understood what his why was and what he was trying to accomplish, then they were able to bring him back into the fold and have a profound effect on their business.
That's exactly right. And so the interesting thing about that guy, his why was to challenge the status quo and think differently. And he was kind of the oddball. And nobody really understood him. And so since they didn't understand him, he didn't really participate in the office. So he would just go to his office, do his thing, and leave. But once so I took the entire office through discovering their why, like we just did here. And they saw that his why was to challenge the status quo and think differently. And suddenly they understood him. And instead of being the weird guy, he became the guy that they would go to help them think outside the box and imagine extraordinary. He became the innovation guy. And so life for him completely changed as well as it did for the business because they saw who they had on their team. That's when it becomes powerful. Good point.
And not only that, but even on a personal level. I mean, the story you shared about, the husband was it on a travel trip with his wife? And because they didn't understand each why, I mean, it was almost like, possibly divorce court, but they were able to, you want to tell that story in a 60-second rundown?
Yeah, so it was my niece, actually. My niece is a teacher, and she takes her students to Turkey every year. She's done this for like 4 years in a row, and she knew where to stay, where to go, what restaurants, what flights. She knew the whole thing. And her why was to do things the right way. Well, one year she decides to take her husband, and his why is to find a better way. So you can see how you can imagine how that turned out. Everywhere they went, hey, why did we eat in here? This one looks better. Why are we staying at this hotel? That one looks better. Everywhere they went, he wanted to improve things. And she just couldn't stand him. She couldn't stand to travel with him. So when they got back, it was, they were ready for divorce. They said, we can't even travel together. Once they discovered their why, it made sense to them how each other thought. And every time he starts doing his better way thing, she just starts to smile at him. And he goes, I'm doing that again, aren't I? And they just laugh about it. So it turns a fight into a laugh. You can have the same thing with your significant others as well as your team.
And folks that, the ones that are still here, you'll understand now why I brought a unique webinar to you guys from a guy like Gary. I mean, Fortune 500 companies don't fly him in to help their employees find their why if it didn't have a profound effect on their business. The problem that I find with a lot of people, and the reason why 95% of people who try to start their own online business fail, is because they go with the grand illusion of all of this shiny object syndrome of, make $7,000 a week selling on Amazon, or drop shipping, or doing this. And you do it, and you go through all the training, and you go through all the mechanical processes, but it's not something you have a passion for or something you like, and it's in fact something you hate doing. You're not going to succeed. But once you find out what your why is, and you find out what you have a passion for, what better way to live your life than to build a business with something that you have a passion for? I think, and that's why I brought Gary on. I think it's absolutely imperative that everybody finds out what their why is. And for those of you who were at the Digital Sumo live event last year, I walked you. I did a 10-minute segment on Gary's training, and all of them went through the Why app to find out their why. And I got a lot of great feedback from people who were able to get a lot more clarity. If you've been spinning your wheels for years trying to figure out how to get a online presence that resonates with your customers, or for the fact you're just attracting the wrong people, it's really in your marketing messaging. And once you understand what your why is, with Gary's help, you're able to, it's able to open doors for you in terms of your personal life and your business life. I mean, if I didn't know Gary, I'd just buy the stuff just to figure out my wife's why. Because, man, that would make life a hell of a lot easier.
Hey, you know what I didn't do, Gauher, is I didn't really talk money with everybody and results, and I could elaborate more specifics. For example, I just worked with this. I spoke at an event a couple of months ago for this lawyer. He's a consultant for other lawyers, and I had worked with him about 3.5 years ago. And I took him through what we were just talking about here, help discovering his why, how, and what, and using that to redevelop the messaging for his business. And when I worked with him, his company was about a $600,000 a year company. When I spoke at his event a couple months ago, he came up on stage with me, and he said, very rarely in life is there an event that changes the direction of your life. And he said, when I worked with Gary 3.5 years ago, my company, I was confused. I was fighting with my wife. We didn't understand each other. We didn't know what we were doing. I had produced 600,000 in my consulting company, but it was all by luck. He said, when I got clear and I knew where I should go and I knew my gift and I started using that in every bit of my marketing, he said, this year we're going to gross 10 million. He went from 600,000 to 10 million in 3.5 years. And he attributed it to that incident of discovering his why. I get these kinds of emails and conversations and calls all the time. A gentleman local guy, he has a construction company. He said last year, I worked with him a year ago. He said in the last year, we've increased our revenue 100%. And I attribute it to our messaging, our marketing, and our website. All of that came from the why. I worked with a venture capital group. I helped them redevelop all of their messaging and their website and their decks that they use to raise funds. They raised $300 million the week after they worked with me using everything that I developed for them. This goes on and on and on. So if you want to know how to do that, if you're sick and tired of just messing with this and feeling like you're lost, feeling like you don't know what to do, feeling like you're procrastinating, feeling like you can't get off the first base, let me just show you. And you can keep doing what you're doing, but it's so much easier for me to just hand walk you through and just say, okay, let's get you clear on you. Let's get you clear on where you should go. And let's get you clear on the messaging so that you can build what you're looking for and bring the right people to you. There's going to be 1 million people out there doing what you're trying to do. How are you going to separate yourself? Because you can do it cheaper, because you can do more of it, because of what? It's going to come down to you. You are the differentiating factor, but you have to know you and be able to say it and use the words to make it clear so that it resonates and other people can then, that are attracted to you, are the right ones.
And it's important that you said that, Gary, because, in our little internet marketing world, the reality is that a lot of us purchase what I would call like canned trainings, one size fits all type thing, where this is how you start a Shopify store, selling physical products that you've dropped shipping from China to make $5,000 a month. Everybody goes through the training step by step by step by step. And there's absolutely no differentiation between the first guy, the third guy, the seventh guy, the 10th guy, and people then wonder why they're not succeeding online. Whereas if you really kind of change your marketing message and you believe in what you're selling, that's the difference between a $10 million company and somebody who's still sitting behind a desk 2, 3 a.m. in the morning trying to figure out why nobody's buying their trinkets.
Yeah, exactly. And Jana, yes, you are one of the first 12. She just texted, would you please confirm that you are one of the first 12? We have a couple left, but you are one of the first. So that's awesome. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you. You're going to love this. It is going to tell me your why again, Jana. Was it better way? Trust. Aha. Well, then that even makes more sense. You will have messaging that feels honest and feels right. And you're going to be comfortable saying it because it comes from you. It's not some BS that some marketing firm made up for you. Hey, go say this. This will get you a few more people. Yeah, but you got to live with that. That's the important part. So, Gauher, I try to sometimes, I know I probably shouldn't stay away from the money part because I don't want to make claims. I can tell you what has happened. And that's, that's why I think it's important, I guess, to talk about that. But I know from everybody here, once they're clear, once they're confident, once they're sure, once they know, there's such a difference between thinking and feeling and knowing. And once you know what to say and you know that it's real and you know it resonates, that's when stuff comes back to you. Robert, I'm looking forward to working with you as well. That's going to be great.
Well, Gary, let me tell you a little bit about our world. I think, I speak for a lot of people on this webinar. I was at a point in my life where, I was newly married, had a daughter who was 2 years old. I was working a job. I don't have one of those, I was lying in a ditch by the highway with zero money in my pocket, an alcohol bottle. And then finally the dream came true and this secret letter came and I figured it all out. I was a professional accountant by my background, and which I told you. And, I was prepared to go up the corporate ladder. But there's many different reasons why, many of us, including myself, who are on this webinar tonight, were attracted to the internet. Some of us, we were just entrepreneurs by heart, and we could see the opportunity of building sustainable businesses online with very little capital, not having to go out and spend, $1.5 million on a Taco Bell franchise. You could literally start a business with, a modest amount of money online. For other people, Gary, it's the struggle of paying the mortgage. It's the struggle of the car payment. And the reality is that, there's a lot of internet marketing launches where people teach you how to sell products on Amazon to build a business. People tell you how to drop ship from China to build a business. People teach you how to be an affiliate marketer. And some of these courses are very, very good. Some of them are just very poorly created courses. But the reality is whether the course is really good or whether the course is really bad, rarely people do finish them. Surprisingly, majority of people probably don't even start them because there's the allure again of the next best thing that comes kind of floating around. And I think it's because people don't really know what they want. And, we could talk about money all we want, but really the end result for anybody is not the money. It's what money can buy people at the end of the day, whether it's a sound mind knowing that you're not $100,000 in debt, whether it's the extra 3-4 vacations every year that somebody wants to indulge on. Everybody has different outcomes for the reasons why they want money. But the problem is that most people don't know what their true why is. And when you don't know what your true why is, you're chasing. You're grasping at straws almost in terms of, because I get a ton of email from tons of people saying, I've lost my job. I got an email from somebody who just told me they spent $60,000 in coaching and consulting and internet marketing, had no prior experience, and now they're ready to go, but they don't know where to start. And I'm just shaking my head going, wow, you just dropped $60,000 because you were probably hustled by somebody with this elaborate dream. But really, when you sit down and you try to figure out your why and then you start chasing your passion, I mean, you look at all of these big guys that you brought up, whether it's Bill Gates, whether it's Steve Jobs, whether it's Elon Musk, these guys are building billion-dollar businesses because they're chasing their passion. They don't even care about the money. The money is a byproduct of chasing a big dream and chasing a big passion. I mean, you look at Elon Musk, who wants to put humans on the moon before he leaves this earth. The reality is that that's his dream, and he almost lost everything trying to chase his dream. But the fact that he's able to chase his passion and be able to do it with 100% commitment, look what SpaceX is doing now in terms of bringing rockets back and deploying satellites for third-party countries. It's just phenomenal what he's been able to do. And that's a true example of a guy who knows what his why is. He knows how to do it and what he wants. And, I'm not saying everybody here is an Elon Musk, but the reality is that when you go through a structured course that Gary has put together, and Gary ran me through this exercise for my business alongside with another partner who is, or I shouldn't say partner, an associate who's in the same mastermind I'm in. And I get a lot of emails from you guys wondering, because I've always talked about the different masterminds I was involved with, like the 3 or 4 different masterminds I've been involved in the last year. I met Gary at one of them, and this is the kind of stuff that is shared at masterminds, not like, on Bing, if one ad has a higher click-through rate than the other ad, then shut off the other. I mean, those are all small mechanical things. I'm talking about thinking big and thinking on a broader level, because just changing your messaging alone, it could be the difference between you struggling to make enough money from your online business to cover that car payment, to making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, just by changing your marketing message. Because one thing I know is I'm in the health supplement business, and we sell supplements. Gary knows that. I have a partner in that business. And one of the things that we have to address, especially in that market, is trust. If there is 1 ounce, or our customers smell 1 ounce of bullshit or distrust, then they're gone. They are absolutely out the door. So, for us, it's really dialing in that message, creating that message that creates that trust, that creates that comfort, to get people to actually pull out their wallets and spend money. Because the internet's changed. I mean, 10 years ago, people were uncomfortable with purchasing stuff online, but Amazon has cultivated an environment where it's now a norm to be able to spend money online. And the fact that people are doing that, that opens up obviously the gates to fraud. And when you get fraud, you get distrust, you get skepticism, you get people thinking things are a scam. So you really, really have to clear up your message. And Gary's really important. If you think you can throw up an About Us page that's 1 sentence, that's very generalized, and you'd be surprised that how many people actually read the About Us mission statement pages of your website. I've had people email me to tell me that there's spelling mistakes in our terms and conditions. That's how detailed some people are. Don't underestimate how far people will go towards making sure that your marketing message resonates with their why and what they want to achieve. So very, very important in terms of marketing and understanding that. And like you said, Gary, that 1 slide that you put up, if you understand that 1 slide, that's the big takeaway, is really tapping into the right part of the brain.
Yep.
With the marketing message that you're trying to convey.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the power of being real. The power of, there's this golfer that's out on the tour right now, and his name is Beef. And they were asking him, this guy's been on the tour for 15 years. And in the last year, he's come on the scene and started winning all these tournaments. And they said, how have you been able to do this? And they said, you've been out here 15 years. Why are you starting to win now? And he said, when I was growing up, my idols were Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. And so I tried to be like them. And that got me so far. But I stalled out. He said, when I started to embrace who I really am, he's about 6'5", big belly on him, his big beard, and his teeth are kind of going all over the place. And his nickname is Beef. He said, when I embraced being Beef, being who I really am, that's when my career took off. That's when I started to win. That's when things happened for me. So when you become the real you, We're all kind of a muted version of ourselves because we don't know. We try to fit in and we try to do our own thing. But once you're clear on you, then when you know your why, how, and what, we're actually going to go 9 deep. In the course, we're going to go 9 levels deep into who you are. You'll be 1 out of 356 million. So you'll know yourself to a really deep degree in the course. Then you'll be crystal clear on how you think and what it is you bring. That's when you'll have the clarity to say, okay, now I know what direction I should go because I will have passion for this. I won't have passion for that, but I will for this. And when you have passion for something, nothing will stop you. And
It's
then
interesting that you said that, Gary, because if you think about it, when you said, being a muted version of yourself,
yeah,
this is how many of us are a muted version of ourselves, even in our personal life,
yep,
in our interactions with other people, with relatives, with your spouse, with your kids, because you don't understand your why,
yep.
or you're afraid other people won't understand your why. I mean,
The first thing that
doors for you.
the first thing I usually hear, Gauher, after I work with a group is, I got to have this for my spouse.
Yeah.
Because your personal life is such a big part of your life.
Oh,
Right?
100%. I mean, there's and I've shared the story with my tribe, is that my father-in-law has this plaque at his house, the 10 rules for success in life. The number one rule is be very careful who you marry, because that will dictate 90% of the success in your life. And, at first you might laugh about that, but when you think about that, Gary,
Yep.
it is so true. And we've point blank asked some of our mentors, and you were there once when I asked a mentor, where would you be if you were still stuck in the crummy marriage you were before? And he said, I would not be where I am today.
Yep.
So, I'm not saying that everybody goes out and find a new spouse, but if you go out and understand your current spouse, man, that could go a long way towards having that spouse understand you and what you want to achieve, because you won't believe how many emails I get from people. Let me know in the question box, how many of you have had an unsupportive wife when you started your online business? Somebody who's kind of looking over the shoulder, looking at what you were purchasing, kind of saying, why are you wasting your time on this? Why are you spending hours behind the computer? You're not getting anywhere. I get a ton of people who have emailed me saying that, I just wish my wife would support me, or my husband would, have my back, because, when you have that behind you as a catalyst, and I've always had a very, very supportive wife. She gave up tons of movie nights because I said, listen, I got to work, I got to do this, I got to do that. And that made a world of difference as far as bringing me to where I am today, Gary, is having that support. And I think if you understand, number one, first of all, your why, and then you get your spouse and understand her why, then that not only is going to benefit you immensely in your personal life, but it'll benefit you in your business life too.
Well, what happens, Gauher, is that some of the crazy things that they do or don't do start to make sense to you. When you see them from the perspective of their why, then you understand them at a deeper level. So one of the things that I hear that I do also want to address, Gauher, is that people will say, yeah, that why thing's kind of like my personality profile, or maybe it's like the disc, or it's kind of like my colors. And I say, the difference is that they're both very valuable. Disc is very valuable. Strength finders, all those are very valuable, but those are your how. Those are not your why. You're not going to build your business around your color or your disc profile or your strength finder, but you damn well better build it around your why, because that's what it's all about. Yeah.
One of the interesting things you told me in Nashville, Gary, you told me that every single one of us is born with our why, which is one of the 9 whys you talked about.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And the one guy who went through the exercise denied his why after going through the exercise and said, nope, this is not my why. And you said, well, you went through the exercise, you answered the questions the way, your gut was telling you, this is what your why is. They said, nope, that's not my why. And you brought him to the front of the room. And when you really drilled down, what happened? He found out that it was his why. And everybody in the room looked at each other and they said, that is his why. Right out of the gate, we were all like, well, that is you. And he kept saying, no, that's not me. That's not me. And when you really drill down and you went through every single question, it just kept going back to that why. And
Exactly.
the reality is that some of us might not be happy with what our why is. Have you ever seen that, Gary, that some people are confused or they just don't want to be that why, but that's what they're built as?
For sure. And that's kind of the hesitancy that I have in showing everybody the 9 whys. In fact, somebody, I can't remember if it was Jana or somebody on here, or maybe it was Chris, said, "Oh, that's not the why I thought I was going to be." And sometimes people will say, "Well, that's not the why I wanted." Well, it's not important whether it's what you want or don't want. It's important what it really is. Because when it's real, that's when you can use it. Yeah, that was you, Chris. Okay. And so, by the way, Gary, it's 100% refund. If you're not happy with anything, you have 100% refund, and it's on the page there. So, for anybody, if this isn't what you wanted and doesn't live up to what you said, then you'll get a refund. So don't worry about that. I just want to make sure that we get you in and get you going so that you can make the changes that I know you've wanted to make and everybody's wanted to make to get to where you want to go. But, you were what was the question again, Gauher?
We were talking about, you were talking about some people. It's not
Yeah.
so much, whether you're upset with what your why is. It's finding out what it truly is so that you can be real.
Yes, exactly. There are surprisingly tonight there was 3 masteries. I've never seen that before. There may be even more because not everybody put their why in the chat room for us. But that is so incredibly rare, and I'm not sure what that means or what that says. But that's an interesting why, because I had challenges with that why in finding ways to help them find success. I had never seen somebody who had taken that why and found success until recently. And now I found this guy whose why is he's a hedge fund. He's the head of a hedge fund. And I'll tell all of you that are mastery, I'll tell you all about him so you can see how he was able to take his why and create something amazing with it. Because a lot of times, as you know, if you're wise mastery, you struggle with all the details. You struggle with wanting to go so deep without being able to move forward, right? You got to go research it. You got to go figure it out. You got to have more information. You need more information before you can do anything. That's a challenge for you. That's what has you procrastinating. That's what has you not getting going, not getting off first base, because you've got to know more. You've got to know more. Well, there's ways around that, and I'll share all that with you because otherwise it's a big, big challenge. So every why, Gauher, you know this already, but every why has strengths and every why has challenges. And when you know the challenges, then we can show you the solutions to those challenges because you have faced this. You faced it many, many times and you haven't been able to find the solution. So we'll show you the solutions to those challenges so that you can move forward and get going in the direction that you want to go where you'll find your passion. That's what it's really all about. Picking a direction that will allow you to have passion and then showing you how to get there fast because you'll have the right messaging to be able to do it. That's what it's about. Gary says, I have chronic shiny object syndrome. My why was mastery. Okay, perfect. You're learning more and more. And that's important for you. But there's a way around it. I can show you a way around it. We can get past the chronic shiny object syndrome. And I think we all have that to some degree, don't you, Gauher?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad when you're doing something successful and you get distracted.
I know.
I don't know if that's boredom or maybe even in some cases, some people do find success doing something they don't like, but they get bored and then and because of that, they jump to something else, which jeopardizes the first thing that they were bored of in the first place. But if you had a passion for what you're doing, then sometimes majority of the time that never, ever ends. So great.
Well, are there more questions? While you got us both here, if there's a question for Gauher, if there's a question for me, please hit us up before we get off the call. I know there's a bunch of you left still here, so I don't want to leave you hanging. If there's something that's you've got to ask, go into the chat room and ask because we're here. Let's see. We'll give you another minute or two. I would love to help you guys move forward. And you can do it on your own. I mean, you can go do this like I did. It's just a lot slower. I'll just shortcut the whole thing for you so that in, a couple of months you are off and running. Rui, thank you. I'm glad you were here. Thanks for the positive feedback. There is a gentleman that we worked with in Sao Paulo. What was his name? There's only probably, 12 million people in there? But there is a gentleman in Brazil that we've worked with. Jacques. No, there was another. Trying to think of who it was now. I can't think of it. I can't even remember my own name half the time, much less somebody else. Can you name some types of businesses for someone whose why is seeking mastery? Well, I know for one, hedge fund. For two, he's in IT. This gentleman does product launches, and he's done well with product launches. He's one of the Jeff Walker guys, and so that has worked well for him. But there are others. I don't have time right this minute to go into the depths and the details of mastery, but when you learn more and more about that why, and you start to see how it's played out in your life, that'll help you get on the right career path. So it sounds like, Ivan, you're wondering on what career path to go on, because there is a process, like I was saying, for matching up your why, how, and what with a career where you get to live that. Yeah, good. So you saw the one slide that kind of separated them and said one-way business, one-way career. I have a program called the Why Career Formula, which will get you on the right career path. I use it with lots of college kids, helping them get clear on what direction they should go. What should I pick as my major? What should I pick as my career? They have no idea. I have a way to help them do that. It's called the Why Career Formula, and that might even be better for you. Ivan, you can send me an email and we can converse on that. All right, Gary, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you signed up. It's going to be fun. I'll be there to help you, walk you step by step through. And so you and I will get to work together. We'll have that one-on-one where we can go through it all. So that's awesome. Ivan, yeah, again, I think you've got my email. If you don't, you can get it through Gauher and we can converse on that. Anybody else? Any questions for us before we wrap up tonight? I appreciate you guys staying with us. There's a whole big group of you that have stayed all the way through until the end. We've been on an hour and 42 minutes. That's awesome. Any questions we can answer? Jim, Jan, Jana, Carrie, Leah, Rodney, any of you guys? Gary, Ganti, Clayton, Chris. Love to hear from you guys. If there's something that's holding you back, if you're worried about anything in moving forward, put it up there. Chris, awesome. You're already in. Anybody else? Clayton, Gary, there's two Garys. Looking forward to moving forward, Jana. Yep, that's awesome. Anything else we can do? Anything else we can answer? There's just still a bunch of you on here, and I'm happy to keep going. If you have any questions about anything, any of the whys, how I used it in my business, how I'm using it now, where we use it, once you have your why messaging, then it goes up everywhere. If you look at my assistants, they all have on their uniforms our why. Great teeth, better life. I'll show you how to create your tagline. Just that is worth way more than it. Have you ever tried to hire a marketing agency to help you create your tagline? And what do they charge you for that? I've developed the process for doing it. So here's the thing. Here's another thing. I don't know if I really shared this well enough with you guys. And that is, all of these are formulas. And what's great about a formula is that once you know the formula, anybody can do it. So it's a step-by-step process, right? It's the application of information in the right sequence that yields the results. I've put everything in the right sequence for you. So you can go step by step and get the results. And it happens every single time. Follows A to B to C, and it builds, it builds, it builds, it builds. So you start with your why, then your how, then your what, then we create your vision, then we talk about who is it you're looking to attract, then we start developing your tagline, then we get into your we believe statement. So the other thing you're going to get is you're going to get a video script. As a result of all of this, you're going to create a video script that you can use for the video on your home page of your website. You'll have all of that stuff. It's going to take you forever to figure that out. But if you just follow the steps, it all comes out to you. And you'll have it online for you with my help to make sure that it's right and it feels good. So you're going to get all of that. I mean, like I said, just in my business here, I went to a marketing firm before I knew any of this, 10 years ago, and tried to get them to help me do a new tagline. We didn't even have one to develop our tagline. It's $2,500 to start, just to start. And we didn't even use the damn thing. It wasn't even worth anything. What you're going to create will be you. It'll be authentic to you, and it'll be real, and it'll feel good when you say it. Just like the one for the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber. Join, connect, thrive. They use that everywhere. They use that in every ad. It's on everything that goes out. It's on every email. It's on every speech that they give. It's everywhere. They are now the largest Hispanic chamber in the nation. They are the model for other Hispanic chambers, Hispano chambers, because they're clear on who they are. It shows in everything they do. It'll be the same thing for you. Any plan to write a book? Interesting, Chris. I am writing my book right now. I am on chapter 7. It will be done March 23rd, and it'll be ready to go out in May. So, yes, I am writing my book. My blog, if you guys want to join, here's the other thing. Those of you that are working with me, I'm going to then interview you on my blog, which will go out to many, many, many people. So I want to make sure things are perfect for you, and you had an amazing experience, and you got what you want, and your business is rocking and rolling, so that I can interview you on my podcast. I'm sorry, I don't know if I said blog, but I meant my podcast. My podcast is called Beyond Your Why. I'm going to interview Gauher as well. It's called Beyond Your Why. And all of this is now taking place. I'm just starting doing, what do you call that? Not Pinterest. I just did a video tonight for, not Pinterest, not Facebook. What's the other one? Gauher, what's
Twitter?
Not Twitter. What's the other one? Not YouTube.
Instagram.
Gosh, dang. I just did a little, what is it, an Instagram movie?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a social media guy that's teaching me all this stuff because I have been so dang busy with what I was doing. I didn't have the ability to work with more people. And so now that I have the courses, I'm able to do that. So yeah, the book's coming out, Chris. You're working with me. You'll get a copy of it. You'll get a signed copy of it. I only have one question. I need to go, but I thought you mentioned some freebies. Did I misunderstand? Yes. I will send that to you, Jan. You guys are all going to get the 9 whys, the strengths, challenges, and solutions to those challenges ebook. So it'll have all that in there for you. Very good. Yep, that'll all come to you, Chris. It'll come to everybody that's on here. Chris, you already signed up, right? What the heck? It's time. This is the right thing for you. I'm looking forward to working with you. So, okay. I think we've answered all the questions. Anything else, Gauher?
Well, I just want to thank you, Gary, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to provide this unique workshop to my audience. And I love bringing people like you on to the webinars that I do for my audience because, one, it gets great insights. I mean, nobody, obviously, in our little small internet marketing world is thinking about teaching about really getting down to what people's real whys are so that they can chase their passions, really go out there and build successful online businesses, avoid shiny object syndrome, focus on something that they like, and build a real thriving business. So I'm glad I brought you on based on the feedback that I got in the chat room. It seems like everybody has loved this webinar. Guys, let me know in the chat box if you loved everything that Gary talked about this evening, whether you joined or not. If this is the type of people that you want me to continue bringing on that kind of open up your eyes to the possibilities out there, I would definitely love to get your feedback, not only in the chat room, but even by people who are watching the replay. Just email me back with your comments if this is something that definitely you think you've benefited from. Just going through that 5-minute exercise of finding out what your why is really the first step to redefining your life and the purpose of your life in terms of what you want to approach it as from a business perspective, and how you want to generate your online income moving forward. So Gary, thank you so much for providing my audience with a stellar webinar. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in Chicago next week.
Next week, yes, Gauher, and thank you for having me, and thanks for putting this all together. I know your audience better now, and I think that's really important because you got a great group here, and I know you've got a great following, and I'd love to continue to work together to help them have a bigger impact. That's what it's really all about. So thanks, Gauher.
Yep. And for those of you who have joined up with Gary, 100%, it will have an impact. It's already had an impact on my business. So I'm very grateful to Gary for that. So thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate it, and have a good rest of the evening.
You too. Take care. Thanks, everybody.